Afternoon punters, here we are back at the Emerald, punting Melbourne style with the punter's punter, Dan Kelly.
How are you, Potts?
How are you,
mate? Beautiful, here we are.
Spring,
28 degrees.
Yeah.
Big at the Emerald Hotel.
what a great country.
Great country, mate. Horses, all the best horses running around, good weather. Hard to beat on a Monday, mate.
I was thinking that yesterday. What I did, DK, I got up in the morning, did all the form for Cranbourne, back the winners of race 1 and 2, packed the wife up, went down to the pub at Middle Park, had a steak lunch and everything else, got back in time for the Cranbourne Cup, back the winner of the Cranbourne Cup. What a great country.
That's it, mate. That's it. Perfect. That's how you do it. That's what you've got to do. I've got the same thing. I bet. Have time with the kids, come back, do the same thing. But anyway,
there we go. Now listen, I hear there was a clash of the Titans on Twitter last night.
Ring-a-ding-ding. Two of the heavyweights in Nathan Snowbed and our man Ralphie. There's a few haymakers being thrown last night, I was out for dinner and then I saw Twitter lighting up in the Uber on the way home and I thought, what's happened there? And so it was quite, anyway, but I was thinking, I said to Matty Taylor, said in the old days, you know, you've got to make Gary Roberts in those days when he was flying in the 80s and that, all the punters were obviously all at the track, everyone was at the track, and everyone congregated at the track and then they all headed out as a group or groups to the pubs and everything, and I said that sort of stuff would have been taken care of over a beer here at the Emerald after the races in those days.
Of course it would have.
Whereas,
and it would have taken 5 minutes, it probably would have heated for a moment or two, and then they would have understood each other, shaken hands, and it would have been play on, no drama.
But now it's, you have a few reds or whatever at home, and it's 9 o'clock, you're on the couch, and someone upsets you, and you're banging away on the keyboard, probably, and you say some things which you probably wouldn't say to someone's face and things like that. But well, they might, you know. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. But I'm saying, but over a beer in a pub after the races, that's how it was back 15, 20 years ago. But now we're all on the Twitter sphere, mate. But so anyway, it was entertaining. And
they're both good men. I'm sure they'll sort it out.
They'll sort it out. Yeah, they are very much Twitter heavyweights.
Yes,
both of them. So,
now, I just want to say, I've had my own issue this week with the internet, DK, and that sort of thing. So I just want to say that since I've been selling the stuff through my own website and everything else, I've collected a brilliant group of subscribers. Like 99% of them are just the best, you know. Like for instance, last week I sent an email out just letting them know how I was going to handle Cup Week and that they were going to get something, you know, as a sign of my appreciation for their loyalty and sticking solid and everything else. And quite a few of them wrote back to me and just said, "Potts, your service is great. We should be paying you extra, not getting something for free." And that was John and Clint and a few others. And I mean, they're just that's reflective of them as a whole group. So I like to keep it pretty small. Once they come on board and they find me, they tend to stick really solid. And you know, I don't want to get too big. You know what I mean? I like it where it's
just come along for the ride with you.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And most of them treat the information exactly as it should. But unfortunately, because it's internet and the way the world works these days, you're going to get the odd rogue. And I did get one last week that I discovered that for a couple of months he's been taking my stuff, lifting parts of my set directly, putting his own name to it, and then selling it through his own social media channels.
Selling it?
Yeah, selling it to a Facebook group and bobbed up on a few other sites. Not in his own full name, and I wouldn't even know if his own full name's his correct identity, because he's made, after I've barred him, he's made several attempts to come and sign back up under false names.
Oh, Jesus.
So anyway, look, there's a line. I don't care how people use my stuff. For their own punting, they do whatever they want. They can learn from, they can handle it however they want. But if you want to sell anything, it has to be your own work. And once if you, like, the kind word for these things is plagiarise someone else's work and then try and sell it. You've crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. There's no coming back from it. I don't care what your explanation is. So anyway,
that's a good warning for people. There's a lot of things popping up on Facebook and Twitter, the tipping sites and things like that, and especially this time of year. And I'd say that's a warning out there to be careful. Know who you're getting it off, and know it's their own work.
That's the key, DK. Know who it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's anonymous in any way, and this was a shadowy thing with just a first name and a black figure, don't get involved. And you know, the bloke involved, just leave me alone, mate. You know, you're not going to get through the cracks. My magnificent wife she is dogged and she is persistent. And if you try and sign up through a dodgy name, she will figure it out. So you've got no hope of get lasting. So
anyway, at least it's found it out, and it's a good warning this time of year to other people out there. You know, just
absolutely
for sure. And I'm glad you worked it out. Anyway.
So anyway, you had some feedback from one of our viewers, didn't you, about punting our way through when you have a bad week.
Yeah, when we went there the Betfair spring launch, which is a great night with 100 and something punters in there. It was great, meeting all the different people and the different way they go about it, the in-play punters. And one particular dog punter I've known for a long time, he said, oh, really, when you and Potts on the show have a chat about battling through the losing runs, he says that's when I get sort of the most out of it, because that's the toughest times and when you need a bit of motivation to, and you know what to do and whatnot. So I just thought I had a strip out last week, and I think Saturday was a pretty tough day for a lot of people punting, just judging by Twitter and things like that. The Caulfield results and the Sydney and whatnot was a tough day, so I just thought it might be a good time to again just talk about how we battle through and
definitely
what I've done. And things,
I didn't say on said it was a brutal set of results. So just taken purely off the face value, my set was -10. You could have got the break even if you caught the winners at the right prices. Like for instance, Invincible Star.
Yeah.
I sent it out at $15, but I didn't say take the price.
Yeah.
So I put on my report on my results $7.50. It meant a remarkable go. And
Yeah.
the frustrating part for me, and this is sort of feeds into that subject, is I really liked that horse first up at Moonee Valley.
You did. I remember you said to beat Hootson. You
Selected to beat Hootson.
That's what I thought. Potts will be on this, but with the barrier or something.
Well, it just didn't go well enough. It didn't half enough. It sort of just didn't work out for it at Moonee Valley, and it obviously needed the run.
Amazing camp with their.
So I sort of thought
how they gain out of their runs under their belt, aren't they?
So prior to Moonee Valley, I thought this is a really nice horse, because that debut at Flemington last year in the spring was a real signal of genuine talent.
Yep.
That it didn't sort of show that at Moonee Valley, even though its run was.
You'd be disappointed. In it. That happens to me a lot. I drop off.
So that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, how often does that happen?
All the time.
All
the time. So I had one all the time that you sort of attach yourself to it, so you back the horse and he sort of lets you down to some degree.
Yeah.
He still might run well or whatnot, but you say, you're a losing proposition following you going forward sometimes. And I had one the other day that I backed at Ararat. I was 3 wide the trip and got beaten by that Theodore or whatever on the line. And was in again on Wednesday, Ballarat, and it was $14 and I didn't back it. Had a jockey change and everything. I got beat that mark. I would have been sick if it won and I wasn't on it, you know.
Yeah.
Just because I was on it last start for a good result and everything, but it happens all the time. Just trying to stick with a horse who sort of disappointed you a little bit, you know. So it happens a lot, mate.
It does, doesn't it?
Anyway, but I just strip out, and one of the things I say to cleanse myself of the strip out and to start fresh is I go back and review and find out, you know, was it my punting, was it my analysis, was it the results, you know. So I just did. I mean, I counted them before. I've got 18 between yesterday afternoon and this morning when I finished. I've got 18 pages of stuff, and still a lot of stuff I've written 2 and 3 times.
Yeah.
Just to get clarity and just to bang it into myself.
Yeah.
So I went through every race for the last 2 weeks that I sort of should have been involved in, and what I did wrong, what horses won it, what their platforms were, what runs they were coming off, what camps, what jocks, what barriers, what tracks, everything just to sort of reinforce that, you know, okay, I did make a mistake there. Geez, I should have been on that horse. You know, and it stemmed from that I won last week.
Yeah.
But it wasn't by default, but I got a bit lucky. I got 2 close photo finishes. Yeah. And I think a bit of overconfidence crept in. That's another thing.
Yeah, the overconfidence is something we can talk about. It's very hard to keep it at bay, and it takes years to get the skills to start again fresh every Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't take on the momentum from the week before or the month before, because momentum's powerful, but it can't affect your process. You've got to keep your process.
Yeah. And I found I sort of, that's right. And on a Monday, I started the week poorly by tumbling into that Smurden favourite at Kilmore Messino in the one race when the races are called off. So you do your ass on the track that's cast. Anyway, that's another story, but probably that was more overconfidence rather than saying, oh yeah, this will round them up and win, even though Jay Duffy's on the first start and whatnot, where I should have been saying, mate, this might be back on the fence, and betting says it's not there, but that doesn't matter, it's 7-4 still. So I just, you know, so I did, and then I went downhill from there, but I think overconfidence sort of made me sort of play into a 7-4 chance, a vulnerable 7-4 chance on the Monday after a good week, you know. Yeah. But when I went back and did the good week, I said, well, geez, it could have easily been could have gone the other way. Yeah. So I reckon I was sort of leading up to a dusty week, you know. But now I've had a day off, cleansed, another bit of a day off today, and start fresh tomorrow, and hopefully what I've learned all here, put it into practice.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think try and spot overconfidence when it's creeping in. Make sure you've got a really rigid process. Pretty much start again each week.
Yeah, and it's starting again, but it's not. I don't mind. I start again when I lose.
Yeah.
I think you've got to sort of when you win, you've got that constant, as you talk about, the constant renewal.
Yeah.
You know, every week's a new week, regardless of what happened.
Well, I had a good week last week. The only week I didn't have a good day was Saturday. I won all the other days. So, but I've put all that behind me. This week's a whole new challenge, completely different type of horses and meetings, with Caulfield on Wednesday, and it's really important to take the right approach because all these meetings are a little bit different. You know, my betting plan from Bendigo on Wednesday was completely different to Caulfield on Saturday. I only found one race at Cranbourne on Friday night, and then it was a really good meeting at Cranbourne yesterday. We found a few races to bet into. So it's just having the process at the right level. And I talked a bit about Bill Waterhouse's advice that if you know what works and how you develop edges, don't throw that out, but make sure that the edges are still there. Work hard at it.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to go through there. To do is make sure that edge, and I've got sort of it's putting it into practice of the day. And as you said, the Mad Axeman getting the money down and all this sort of thing. But actually, the horses that tick, or should have been on, were winning races.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure that that's still there. If I just handled it poorly, so if I handled it well, I wouldn't have had a strip out. I might have chopped out or a small win. But
and it is always important to analyse both sides of it too, DK, because there's the analysis stuff that leads into it that works out which horse, what your market is, and how you want to bet, and then there's the actual betting.
Yeah.
And I can say for the past few months I haven't been handling the betting as well as I should be.
Right.
So I did a big review of that a couple of weeks ago, just where I was backing them, how I was backing them, how I was thinking about it, and the last 2 weeks I've just punted way better.
Right. Yeah.
Just the little extra things that make such a huge difference to your day when you're counting up the final result.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a couple of times where places I probably would have lost on in 2 years, and I chopped out because I had the saver that I wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have backed that horse a year ago, 2 years ago. So I did, so that sort of said, well, you've learned. Something is locking in there from all. That's the thing. You only learn by losing, really.
Yeah.
You learn the tough lessons, and you need to lock them away and so you don't make the same mistake again. And so I did. That was encouraging that I did save on a couple of things where I wouldn't have done so, a while ago.
So we've talked before about my Mad Axeman side of things with the betting. I'm not strong enough there. Well, I got right into it yesterday, DK. I went Mad Axeman Deluxe yesterday. Like I've been sort of going along slowly all week, just chipping away, doing my usual thing. And I get up yesterday morning, I do the form for Cranbourne Race 1. This is a cracking race.
Yeah, I all those maiden winners and whatnot.
I hadn't seen it. I look at 9 o'clock, look at the field. What a field this is, Laconie, 5 to 4. I'm coming out of that horrible race at Caulfield. I'm going to have some fun here.
The flashing light and the horrible race.
And there's all these other horses I'm aware of that I know that have got really strong hidden provincial and country form. I can back a few horses here. So anyway, so I'll do the form properly, and I think I'm going to start having a bit of betting chess with the market here because of the way the algorithms are set on Sundays, I can fiddle around with them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was setting off things left, right and centre. And I'll cut a long story short, but I ended up backing 4 horses in the race. And if I take the prices that I took and the best price of all the other runners between 9 AM and when the race jumped, 75%.
Not bad work.
So it was
Sunday algorithms.
It was a lot of fun. It was just an exciting race. They was prepared to win a filly up and running that was drawn wide, going to drive forward and go to the front. So she was in the race, and I was betting a terrific price her. And she'd been in and out a bit. I really have an opinion of Irish Vega. So even though it was a back
Irish
marker,
Vega went terrific.
So I took $11 early. It's ended up running favourite.
Did it really? What was Laconie Express to?
I think
$4 or something.
Right at the death, I think. Is it he or she? It's he, I think. He got out past $5 on Betfair. And SP was probably around $4.40.
That's encouraging, even if you probably said, I knew to take on that horse straight away.
And there's a filly of Nigel Blackerson's in that race, Lady of Flanders. She got talent.
She jumped out really well. She has got talent,
She can win a race. And there you go. So
Double Jeopardy was there, was it, in that race?
Yeah. And the reason I'm telling that story really, DK, because I'll be quick here, is that when I did the form for Caulfield, I wanted to be really excited about it, but it was just a really difficult meeting. Had a lot of imports and tough races and everything else. So
I see your units were down on the meeting. So
normally I'd be up around 100 unit mark for a meeting like that. I was down at 58.
Yeah.
So it just sort of says that you've got to accept what it is and be patient and wait for the good opportunities to come.
Absolutely.
That's a key thing.
That is key. Patience.
All right, that'll do us for part 1.
Sounds good.
Back in a second with part 2.